Hey, what's up guys? My name is Destery and welcome back to What the Fuck 5. So I'm sure there was a time when you were a kid where all you could think about is how awesome it would be to be all grown up and finally get to do all those things that your parents told you were too young for. Stay up late eating nothing but marshmallows and drinking Mountain Dew, watch R-rated movies without your parents telling you you're grounded for 2 weeks, look at immaculate pictures of titties without having to clear your search history on your parents' computer, and most of all play M-rated video games where you get to slice bitches' heads off with samurai swords to your heart's content. Because if your upbringing was anything like mine, which it probably wasn't, my mom literally forbid me from playing video games because she was afraid I was going to become a murderer. Good thing she's wrong, right? Was that a fork? But sometimes politicians and companies ban video games for the exact same reasons, and other times for completely stupid reasons. So that's it for today's What the Fuck 5. We count down the top 5 banned video games of all time. And also, before we get into this, there will be some graphic imagery as we're going along on this list, so if that kind of stuff bothers you, you've been warned. Number 1. Custers Revenge. So to start us off, the first game on this list was made in 1982 for the Atari 2600 game system. And if you're not familiar with the Atari, it was basically the first video game system ever, and as you can imagine, it had some of the most riveting, realistic looking games imaginable. So how did the Atari, in all of its graphic glory, pull off a game that was not only graphic but also contains sexual assault and racism? Well, in the game you play as General Custer, who has his pants down the entire game with a visible pixelated erection, dodging arrows shot by Native Americans, all so you can reach a Native American woman tied to a pole and sexually assault her. Oh. Okay, totally. Like, how fucked up is that? Well, Atari ended up even suing the company Mystique, who made the game, but as a response, Mystique just claimed that the Native American woman tied to the pole was a willing participant in the sex, and the suit was dropped. In the end, the game was only banned in Oklahoma City, and its notoriety only made it more popular, selling 80,000 copies. Which, why? You know, like, why? Number 2, the Grand Theft Auto games. So the Grand Theft Auto games have always been at the center of controversy since the release of Grand Theft Auto Vice City in 2002. A game series where the main goal of the game is to steal, murder, and otherwise commit crimes is obviously going to ruffle some feathers, but it wasn't until the release of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas that the game started getting banned. As in that game there was a pre-installed mod that allowed players access to a minigame where you full-on have sex with the character's in-game girlfriend. This resulted in the ESRB conducting an investigation which ultimately led to the game's rating being changed from an M to AO, or adults only 18+, which then resulted in the game getting banned in several countries. Years later, in 2008, Thailand banned Grand Theft Auto 4 following the stabbing of a taxi driver from a suspect who said, quote, "Killing looked so easy in the game," and blaming his actions on the game's violence. Even now in 2017, several countries have banned Grand Theft Auto 5 on the grounds that it promotes violence against women. And my whole stance on this is, in this situation, I'm always going to blame the perpetrator of the crime and not the game. While yes, games are violent, it's ultimately the fault of the person who's playing the game who can't differentiate between reality and fantasy. It'd be like if a guy drank 4 cups of milk before killing several people and then blamed his actions on the milk because there was too much calcium in his bones. I just couldn't control the calcium! Like, no. Number 3, Postal 2. So this game makes it on the list as probably the only game banned practically everywhere for practically everything. Released in 2003 for the PC, Postal 2 was the sequel of the successful but also highly controversial game Postal, which contained only a fraction of the horrible and offensive things seen in Postal 2. God, how do I even list the things that are wrong with this game? It'd be easier to make a list of the things that aren't wrong with this game. For starters, you can put a gun up a live cat's ass and use it as a silencer. There's a button you can press that just allows you to pee on someone at will. The terrorists in the game are super stereotypical to anyone in the Middle East. Your wife in the game has sex with Satan and then becomes a giant demon who is the first boss in the DLC of the game. And at one point in the game you play a mini game called Fag Hunter, where the objective of it is to kill 20 stereotypically gay NPCs. What the fuck? So obviously, yeah. Now you probably get why this game was banned in New Zealand, Australia, Sweden, and Germany. It's just wildly offensive. I'm gonna go by it. Number 4, Mortal Kombat. Since 1994's release of the fighting game Mortal Kombat 2, almost every single game in the Mortal Kombat franchise has been banned in one country or another for its gratuitous violence. One such instance of this is the game's fatality moves, in which one character kills another character in the most gnarly way possible. Do people still say gnarly? That was gnarly, broskito! No, I just sound stupid. A few instances of the game's fatality moves show characters using hooks to rip someone's intestines out, ripping someone's legs off and proceeding to beat them with it, and buzzsawing someone in half. And with this one, it's like, I get that it's super graphic and you obviously don't want like a small child to see it, but at the same time, like, why ban it? Like, unlike Grand Theft Auto, it's not like someone is gonna play this and then proceed to rip someone's actual leg off and beat them with it. I don't know. And finally, at number 5 is Outlast II. So I absolutely fucking hate this game and am 100% in favor of it being banned forever. I am still having nightmares thanks to this game.
That was— oh my god, that's a dead end! Holy shit! I died. I fucking died. Oh my god. Why?
So if you aren't familiar with it, Outlast 2 is the sequel to the game Outlast, where the main objective of the game is to run and hide from terrifying creatures in an asylum run by a dead guy. And while Outlast and its DLCs show several scenes of violence and torture, it's not the reason that Outlast 2 was banned. Instead, Australia, who seems to be the country that bans every game on this list, banned it for implied sexual violence in a scene where the main character hallucinates being raped by some weird spiky creature lady thing. Whatever this thing is. In addition, the character's wife is also allegedly raped by another creature, but again, it was implied as you can't really see anything. Which, like, I get. It's not something appropriate anywhere, and I will definitely never take the side of the video game that made me poop myself, but I do think the game company did try its best not to trigger a ton of people by actually showing it. But still, fuck that game. Not so luckily for Australians, though, the ban was lifted just a few months later, giving it instead a rating of 18+. Anyways, guys, that is it for this episode of What the Fuck 5. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. My question today for you guys is, what is the scariest or weirdest video game that you've ever played? Also, guys, if you have any suggestions for any What the Fuck 5 topics that you'd want me to talk about, leave them in the comments down below and I'll check those out. If you want to see more of me getting ridiculously scared playing Outlast, I have been streaming that every Saturday on my Twitch channel, so if you want to check that out, it'll be the first link in the description. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go eat some marshmallows while looking at pictures of titties and watching an R-rated movie. Take that, parents! That's it, I'll see you next time for another What the Fuck 5. Thanks for watching, and fair winds.